Hey McAllen, I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to make a quick video to send out my apologies for not getting you this video on Tuesday. I've just been running around for the past couple of days, but nonetheless, here's the video. This past Sunday, we had our family members meeting, and I think it went really, really well. I want to say thank you for all the questions, but also for the amount of support that you guys have given me and my family in light of the season that we've just been walking through. But at the same time, I hope you are encouraged by the health that we've seen, the things that God has done in the history of our church, and the things that God is doing as we move forward in light of our new season. And so if you weren't at the meeting, number one, you were missed. Number two, this is going to be a really short recap of what has happened in addition to providing you with some next steps. So the two main things that we talked about on Sunday were the following through with our name change. As we are moving forward into a new season, we want to carry the legacy that has been Logos Community Church from the beginning. And at the same time, as we move forward, we are regrouping and opening a new chapter in the life of our church. And that's beginning with a new brand, a new identity, one that encompasses our mission in our city and particularly for our church. And so at the end of June, as I was sharing at the meeting, at the end of June, we will be transitioning from Logos Community Church McAllen to Storehouse Community Church. And one of the things that you guys are going to see on the links that are provided below in the email, you're going to see the start of the website in addition to our new logo. And what you'll see on the logo is you're going to see a cross with arrows pointing in and then triangles pointing out. And so just to give you a brief rundown, why I believe that logo or that design is vital to us is because I believe it's the heart of the gospel, that God calls us, draws us into himself, and then turns us around and sends us back out. And you see this in text like Matthew 28 verses 18 through 20, Acts chapter 1 verse 8. And so that's essentially what we see God doing right now in this season. He has drawn us to himself, closer to himself. I believe we're in a season of maturity for our church. I believe we're in a season of growth. And in addition to that, as we move forward, he will be calling us out, sending us out into our community, into our city, so that we would minister to people with the gospel and see lives redeemed for the glory of Jesus. So that is number one. At the end of the month, we're going to be transitioning into Storehouse Community Church here in McAllen. We're going to continue to meet at our building until, which is the next phase, our move. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But here's a few things you need to know. Number one, in light of us transitioning for the rest of the month of June, we're going to be communicating the transition in terms of accounts for giving. So if you give online to Logos Community Church McAllen, if you give online, what you're going to need to do this month is you're going to need to visit the Storehouse website and open a new account so that you can set up your giving there. Now, the program that we use for giving is the exact same program that we used for Logos. So nothing has changed. You just have to open an account. And that link is provided at the bottom of your email. So all you have to do is click on it, and then you'll be at the giving page. Open it up, open your new account, and start that, and you're good to go. It's the same process, same account that we used, or same program that we used for Logos McAllen, we're using for Storehouse. You just need to change it. So in light of that, if you have already given or if you've already given for the month towards Logos Community Church McAllen, that's okay. As we're working side by side with Harlingen, any donations, tithes, gifts that are given to McAllen, Harlingen will filter back out and then send back to McAllen. So if you feel like, oh, I've already given at the beginning of the month, I didn't know, you're okay. As long as you switch your accounts this month, everything should be good. And we'll be communicating that throughout the week. So that's number one. Giving your account, if you give online, setting up your new account is going to be vital for the month of June. Number two, in light of that, on the 18th, which is not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, that's going to be our last sermon series in the book of Ephesians. I hope you've been enjoying Ephesians. It's been a tremendous book, but that's going to be our last sermon, and that will be our last sermon as a gathering for Logos Community Church McAllen. Even though we're still going to meet at the building, that'll be the last time we gather as Logos Community Church McAllen, and where we talk about Ephesians. And so in that, one of the things I want to do is on the 18th, we're going to be having a potluck just to celebrate all that God has done for the past 8 years of Logos Community Church McAllen. We want to celebrate that. We want to laugh. We want to cry. We want to mourn, but we also want to celebrate what God is doing in the future. So that's on the 18th. We'll push that through announcements for the rest of the month, but June 18th, after the 11 a.m., we're going to be having a big potluck to celebrate all that God has done and all that God is doing. Finally, the last thing, the move. So we're looking at moving at the end of August. So starting in September, we're going to have a new worship space. And so what we discussed, or what I talked about on Sunday, was kind of the updates on that. We've kind of set aside buildings that are requiring build out right now just because of a time constraint. And so what we're looking at is moving into buildings that may allow us to just move in right away. And so one of the buildings that I had hoped for, that I had talked about on Sunday, was the McAllen Incubator, also formerly known as the Old Public Library. Through conversation with one of our members earlier this week with the Chamber of Commerce, they are now open to potentially having us in the incubator. That's a conversation I'm looking at having today, if not tomorrow. But pray for that man, the incubator would be an enormous, an amazing, and awesome place to go to. It's in the heart of the city. So many different cultures colliding there at the same time. And so I would ask that you would just pray for that space, that you would lift up this week, that lift up the chamber, lift up the incubator, and pray that God would be at work, and that, man, we would hopefully get in there so that we can start worshiping in there early September. I'll give you more details on that. I know the video is going pretty long. I don't want to keep you waiting too long, but if you do have any questions for me, I'm available to you. Respond via email, and I'll be glad to help you guys out. Next week, my wife and I are taking a couple of days off. It's been a long and enduring season, and so we just need a couple of days off for a breather. So thank you guys so much for allowing us to get some time off. I will see you not just this Sunday, but also next Sunday on the 18th. We love you guys. We are praying for you. Again, if you need anything, give me a heads up via email, and I will hook you guys up. Thanks. Bye.